just a redo, or a remake, if you will, of my PS5 game collection. I thought this time I would just sort of combine both my games and my son's games, since we both have a PlayStation or the PS5, so we essentially have the same games, but he has a few that I don't, so I thought I'd just go over them, and I also have a few more that I've sort of picked up since then, or I just failed to show off on the first video, so I'm hoping that the audio is better now, and also that you're just able to enjoy it as much as, or as well as you could the first time around. I know the first time, again, the audio was not so hot. So, let's get started. I'm gonna go over some of his games first. I'll try not to make this too long. It'll probably be like an hour. So, back for play. I got him this game. I think when we got him this PS5, it was just like a couple years ago. But I got it because I had picked it up, and I gave a copy to my brother as well for Christmas. And the idea was that we were going to be playing together, but that never happened. The game wasn't so great, at least in my opinion. I'm sure they probably updated it, but patched it and whatnot, added some cool features since then, but yeah, wasn't that great, at least in our opinion. I think we only played like a couple matches, and that was that. Elden Ring. I had a copy of this game as well, and I sold it foolishly. I just thought, my son has one, so I could just borrow his if I ever need to play it again. Now that they're doing the DLC, which I forget what it's called, Shadow of the Earth Tree, I think, or something, Earth Tree. Yeah, this was an awesome game. Absolutely love this game. I think it had 2022 at this point, 2 years ago. I had so much fun. I can't believe that my son actually played this and completed it. He did a lot of it on his own, and I think that's why it's sort of locked in my head, like as a key memory now. My son has always known that I play games, since he was small or smaller, and it's always been me showing him how to play and how to unlock something, how to find something. This time around, why it was so special is that he was able to show me how to beat certain bosses, how to unlock certain items. So I forget the name of the weapon, but it was like a samurai sword that I can't believe I've forgotten, but it was like red, and whenever you hit an enemy, it sort of like had this like red kind of swiping animation action on it. I forget what it was called, but you unlocked it towards like the final areas of the game, I think. And he showed me how to unlock it, and he helped me, and we were playing together online. I had a really fun time, and I remember that the most. I think that's why, aside from this being a fantastic game, I remember that the most fondly, just simply because I was playing with him. And also my brother, too. So it was all three of us at some points. My brother, my son, and myself. And my brother's really big into these games, and he got my son into it, which is pretty cool. because I personally, I like, or I enjoy the Soulsborne games, but I'm not like a hardcore fan or anything. Like, I won't do a run with just, no armor or anything like that. That sounds like something I would do like in a DMC game or something, but not not for a Soulsborne. But nevertheless, if you guys haven't played this game, which at this point probably everybody watching this has played it, it's a fantastic game. I couldn't recommend it enough, especially if you like the Soulsborne stuff. Personally, which it's funny, I always say that I'm not like a big Soulsborne fan, but I think I played a majority of the From Software games, at least in this genre. But if you could even call it a genre or subgenre at this point. But I never expected my son to be into them just because they're challenging, and he's often turned off. Like, he wants to have fun when he's playing a game, not like challenge for whatever reason. I'm the complete opposite. At times, I like to have fun, but I also like it to be very morbidly hard. I'm not sure why. Something wrong with me, just like a sadist or something. But nevertheless, I was really happy that he got into this, and yeah, if you guys play this, is one I would say it's one of the easier Soulsborns. Dark Souls 3 is also pretty. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe even Demon Souls on the PS4. I'm sorry, on the PS5, the remake. That game is awesome. One of the best looking games out there, also. But anyway, fantastic game. 10 out of 10. If there ever was a perfect game, this one of this very close, I would say. It's a great game. Helldivers. Looks like it's inside his PlayStation. I picked this up a couple months ago, and I wanted to give it a shot. I wanted to see if he liked it, and he did. So I gave him basically my copy, which is this one, and I just bought it digitally. And my brother's there too, so we've been playing it ever so often. I'm sorry. Yeah, really enjoy it. Fun game. Yeah, it's just I personally am not very good at it, which is strange. I was actually just telling my son I feel like I'm okay at third-person shooters. Multiplayer wise, I think I'm okay. Like, I can hold my own. But something about this game is very challenging to me. The way I'm playing it is not right. It's definitely something I'm doing wrong, not the game. Just the fact that you get, like, for example, with the main, so I think it's the main assault rifle gun or the default weapon, you just, I feel like I unload clips of ammo on enemies and they just don't die. And by the time I, dispatch like 5 enemies, I'm like down to 0 bullets, and I have to launch the ammo pack or whatever the code activation is for the ammo pack to land. It's just, I think I'm playing this wrong. Again, it's not the game's fault, it's mine, but nevertheless, it's fun. I'm always thinking about playing it, but unfortunately right now I am caught with Rebirth, and I'm just addicted to that one. I haven't touched any other game besides that. Well, besides the Last of Us multiplayer that I usually indulge in ever so often with my son and some buddies. But great game. Fun game if you haven't played it. One of the best ones this year so far. Need for Speed Unbound. We got this one for Christmas, or I think my wife gave it to him. I saw that he's really into cars, so yeah, we got this for him a couple years ago, whenever they announced this. I can't remember, but yeah, I had never played it. It looks fun though. It looks like a blast. It's got sort of like this kind of strange kind of like Space Jam aesthetic going on, where it's like realistic cars, but with these like cartoon animations or effects, I should say. I've never played it, but looks fun. He enjoyed it. Riders Republic. Oops. Never played this one. I also saw him play it. They seem to enjoy it. Yeah, I think he just used different sports equipment or whatnot to race and do tricks. I think, I'm not entirely sure, but it's an Ubisoft game, and internet is required for online multiplayer. But it looks fun. FIFA 22. Kylian Mbappe here with the Paris Saint-Germain jersey. I think this was one of the last iterations that had my poor Liga MX in. One of the last games I had Pumas, my team, or one of my two teams, well, soon to be three, I guess. But yeah, this is just classic football. Decided to keep these. I would normally trade these in. I pretty much own every FIFA game since 2008. As sad as that sounds. Well, I shouldn't say I own. I've owned, because I would sell them often to get the new one. I would go to GameStop and sell it. They'll give you peanuts for it, but I was never going to play the older iteration. I was always trying to get the new jerseys and so on. I was that type of doofus that EA really enjoys to capture as a customer, or client, I should say, at that point. Yeah, fun game. What I would do is, my son's into football, soccer as well, so I would often, and he doesn't mind, I would get the new one, and we would share it back and forth, and oftentimes I would just end up playing more. I would have just keep it until the next one came out, and I would just give it to him. He's not as particular as I am, which is good, so he doesn't care as long as he's just playing the football game. But of course, as he's gotten older, yeah, he wants a newer one. Yeah, this one doesn't have my Liga MX anymore. And this is the NTSC version, so the North American version. I'm sure other continents get different leagues here, but because we're in the US, it shows us the most applicable. I forget her name, that's Chelsea player, at least from the woman's team. Yeah, I think this was the last game with FIFA on the label. And Mbappe, Kylian Mbappe, GOAT. And they went out with a bang here, I guess. And you could almost see it here. They were trying to hide the, or maybe not hide, but sort of experiment with the logo. They knew the license was going to be up there. We're not going to renew it with FIFA. And then the last one, they just launched it right there. They're doing their own thing. Ghost of Tsushima. Oh, excuse me. A storm is coming. That's actually awesome. I actually didn't even know what the background looked like. This is my son's copy. I have the PS4 version, and with the steelbook, so I actually never owned the actual copy itself from the standard copy from the PS4 version. My son really loves this game. He says that this is probably his favorite game, along with Elden Ring. He really, really likes this game. He played it and he was going through like a samurai phase. He wanted a samurai sword, a samurai mask, and whatnot. Yeah, I mean, what can I say about Ghost of Tsushima? It's a fantastic game. It's a little it's a little sad that it was sort of like overshadowed slightly by The Last of Us Part 2, in both good and bad ways, I would say. The Last of Us Part 2 came out like a month before this, back during COVID, if I remember correctly. I think Part 2 came out like in June, and then this came out a month later, surprisingly. I'm pretty sure it was just simply because, it was sort of like the swan song. It was sort of like the last title for the PlayStation 4, and before the PS5 released in November, so I guess I understand the sense of urgency. Although it would have been quite neat if they did something similar to that of Miles Morales, in which they launched a PS4 version and a PS5 version, just so it can kind of have like the PS5 could have its sort of quote unquote, launch title, even though it would be on the other console. And that way it could also have sort of its own moment. Again, I feel like it was overshadowed by those that really enjoyed The Last of Us Part 2, and those, even if you didn't, I don't know, I feel like some of the negativity too bled onto some of the PlayStation Studio first-party titles. Or maybe not, maybe it's just me. This is a fantastic game, though. I still don't think it gets enough love as it should, though. Sucker Punch's best game, in my opinion. And this is coming from somebody who loves the infamous games. I love the combat. It was like nothing new, but at the same time, sort of a breath of fresh air for me. It was like not this like super fast-paced, action, frenetic character action game, but it was also not a Soulsborne, slowish type of game. It was sort of like in the middle. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. Fantastic story, fantastic setting, graphics are great. I am a big fan of Jin Sakai. He's a bit dry, he's not like this pompous guy, he is a samurai after all. But fan of the character. Yeah, a great game. I can't believe it's been almost 4 years since this launch. And where does time go? Really insane. Great game though. Now we'll go into, my copies. King of Fighters 15. My wife gave me this one. I was sort of itching for a fighting game, and I remember she saw me pick this up at the store, I think. Not for rental purposes. And she got it for me for Christmas. It's fun. I played for a couple hours. I just I feel like I need a fight stick for these fighting games. This is 100% something that I would have played like crazy if I was a teen or a kid. I like characters like this as a kid, like these anime-looking dudes and gals. I always thought it looked so cool. I would have eaten this up, but I've only played it for like 2-3 hours. That's this fun little game. Well, yeah. Outriders. As you can tell, I have not played this. I'm not even. Oh, it looks like it opened up there a bit. No offline mode, it's all online. I guess that's what's sort of putting me off by it, is that it's all online. I picked this up like for $5 or something at Best Buy. It was something crazy. It was really cheap. And then a few months later, it was on the PlayStation. What is that thing? Oh goodness me! One of the tiers. The PlayStation. One of the tiers. I think not the Essential, but the one after that. I can't believe it. I don't remember their names, but it was available on one of the PlayStation services. I never played it though, but it looks fun. Callisto Protocol. this one, so that's where the game's at. I really enjoyed this game. I know a lot of people hated it, but I thought it was pretty cool. There's some potential there. They can certainly expand on this setting and just atmosphere, I guess, the lore of this game. It's pretty cool. Definitely not not Dead Space or anything, but I like the idea of incorporating melee for horror games. Although, to be honest, this game was not scary, like in the slightest. It was just pretty much just action-packed the whole time. And arguably, so was Dead Space and some of the other horror titles, out there. But yeah, play as Jacob. And although here he's kind of holding a gun, I think the primary focus is the melee combat, which you unlock a baton and you beat the living heck out of these monsters here. I forget what they're called. I wonder if this is here. No. I forget what they're called, but they're like infected. Basically, not zombies, but monsters more so. Fun game. I really enjoyed it. I'm planning this one as well. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. This is probably the best looking game on the PS5. I'm not sure. It's tough because this game looks phenomenal on the console. It looks like a Pixar movie. Really, I know people watching this probably heard that a million times, but it really does. It looks fantastic. And if you're looking for something, short and sweet and fun, definitely pick it up. I think it's also available on one of the subscription services. And again, I'm sorry, I apologize I don't remember the titles of those services. PlayStation Elite, I have no idea. I forgot. Terminator Resistance. I think I mentioned it before, but I'm a huge Terminator fan. Primarily of the first two movies, like almost anyone. It's made by Dayon, published by Reef Entertainment, but these guys, I think, do a lot of like these 80s retro type of games. I think they also did the RoboCop game recently, which I haven't picked up. Game looks awesome and fun as well. Yeah, this game was fun. It's just like a solid 7 out of 10 game, really. Decent graphics, gameplay, very, very basic, but fun, effective, some minor exploration here and there. I'm not sure if it was due to my, or due to the game, but I think it was the game that did this. I have a receiver and like a sound system in my living room, and the sound, like the bullet sounds of this game, it caused my receiver to sort of power off and shut down. I don't know if it was like the sound or the audio that it would emit, but I tested it. It would be just this game. I don't know if there's some audio settings that I need to play around with for that not to happen, but I noticed that when I'm playing this game, my receiver just shut down. I never experienced that before. I could be wrong. It could have been something else, but I tried it playing this game and it would do it. Then I was switched to another game that would not do it. And to this day, it still hasn't done it. But if I were to play this game again, it would do it again. I'm sure. I'm not sure if it was like the blaster sounds of the Skynet robots there. But yeah, one game. It has a back cover too. That's cool. A solid game. Solid 6-7 out of 10 game. Gran Turismo 7. Yeah, great game. I'm not huge into cars or Gran Turismo even, but should correct myself. I historically have not been huge into cars, but lately I've been a little bit more into them than before. I think I mentioned I had some friends who are big into cars, and I sort of got into it, being, just listening and hanging around with those guys. But yeah, the graphics are fantastic if you're into vehicles and just automobile history and whatnot. The steelbook is awesome, by the way. I really love the steelbook. There's that two-tone blue and red classic. I apologize if you guys can hear any of the background noise. Yeah, fun game. Definitely a driving simulator, really. I hear it's great with VR. I don't have the PSVR 2. I've been thinking about picking it up, actually, but I don't have it. I hear it's good on that. Demon Souls remake by Bluepoint, not from software, but still a fantastic game. This is an awesome game. If you're into the Soulsborne, you're gonna enjoy this one. It's a complete remake of the original Demon Souls game, the game that essentially started this genre. Although I feel like that game doesn't get any, much credit, really. I know it wasn't the best in the series, but I think it was, pivotal. It was certainly the pioneer, and certainly from software on the map. I know a lot of people credit Dark Souls for that, but that was probably because it was released on multi-platform from various consoles, and this was a PlayStation 3 exclusive originally. But this is a great game. Between this, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, and Horizon Forbidden West, I think they're probably the best looking games on the PlayStation 5. This is a phenomenal game. Love the disc, by the way. Kind of like an homage to the cover of the first game, if I'm not mistaken. Look at that thing. Looks awesome. Just looking at it sort of makes you want to replay it. It's a great game. Speak of the devil. I know it's technically a PS4 box here, but I got the steelbook, so it doesn't matter. But I think this was the last Sony first party title that gave you a free PlayStation 5 upgrade. So I have it here nevertheless. The steelbook there. Yeah, this is a PS5 game, or at least I have the PS5 version. I didn't play the PS4 version of it. Great game. I know Horizon doesn't get a whole lot of love. I know it's like a love or hate type of game. Some of my buddies at work, they either love it or hate it. It's like one of the most divisive games that we've talked about at work. There's a lot of gamers at my job. Surprisingly, you wouldn't expect it in that type of industry, but yeah, graphics are phenomenal. The gameplay really is, for me, what's the biggest factor here why I enjoy it so much. Yeah, I remember sinking in like 60 hours into this thing, and I got the platinum, and it's fun, very fun. Yeah, again, I still feel like it doesn't get a whole lot of love, but I also sort of understand, like, it's not for everybody. The aesthetic, the whole, like, post-apocalyptic sort of slash future elements of this game. Yeah, it's not for everybody, but it's great overall. You're like into third-person action, combat, shooting type of mechanics. Yeah, fun game. I think it's also available on PlayStation subscription service. Mortal Kombat 1, fun was one of the games that I played for the PS5 last year, and I enjoyed it. I still think, personally, it's, for me, at least, maybe because of the characters, really, not so much the combat mechanics, but I saw it as like a bit of a step back from 11, but although I hear some of the hardcore fans, they prefer this over the 11, so what do I know, really? But for me, at least, it was a step back. But I still enjoyed it. I'm a huge Mortal Kombat fan. This was the first series that I just video game I was pretty much ever introduced to. My dad, back in the day, he had a Super Nintendo, and he and I would play this on the Super Nintendo, in which there was no like blood or anything. I don't believe you could do fatalities on there, or at least some. I don't quite remember, but it was just pretty much like the enemy. When you hit each other, the sweat would come out, not the blood. So I had no idea how violent this game was until I saw it on the arcades. Yeah, I think that's why it's kind of near and dear to me. Remembers just times when my dad sort of we'll put this up and we'll play it. But yeah, Mortal Kombat 1, that's fun. Oh no, this one's opening up too, but I'm not surprised. I picked this game up from Best Buy years ago. It was like $5 or $10. I'm not a baseball fan, unfortunately. But I had to pick it up because I'm from Southern California, and so it was really nice seeing the San Diego Studio label on there, on the box art, and as well as the San Diego Padres. So I just had to pick it up. It's my hometown, so I was like, I have to pick this up, even though I'm not a baseball fan. I just need to have it in my collection. It's just too bad the box is busted, but at least it's not the. At least I hope it's not really the cover art here. Yeah, I don't have any intentions of playing this. Or maybe I should. Who knows? Maybe it's like an easy platinum or something, I'm not sure. EA Sports FC FIFA 2024. aka FIFA 24. Yeah, fun game. I haven't put in as much hours as I would like to on this game. It's so crazy, guys. As a kid, this game, like these FIFA games, I would sink hours into these things. Like, I was obsessed with football as a kid. Like, if I wasn't playing it, I was playing these games. Just getting better, understanding plays, formations, passes. I would spend hours in a little training arena and doing tricks and dribbling the ball. Yeah. I think I've only put about 5 hours into this, playing with my son mostly, but yeah, I want to sink some more time into this. And also both my teams haven't been doing great. Chelsea and my Pumas, and it's pretty cool because we're gonna get a professional team here in my hometown next year when the MLS season starts. So that's gonna be another of my teams, I guess. I'm excited for that. Ever since I was a child, I really wanted a professional home team. So I'm glad that we're finally getting one. Immortals of Avium. Fun game. I think this is this month's, or last month's, or March. I can't remember if it was March or this month, but free game. This is an awesome game. Solid 7 out of 10 game. Fun if you like sort of shooting games, first person shooters. It's right up your alley. I know the aesthetic and overall, style, the whole magic stuff going on may not be for everybody, but if you can get past that, there's a solid first-person shooter behind there. And I tried to buy this at full price, but I ended up getting it on sale. I just couldn't pass up, especially with nowadays inflation kicking everyone's ass. I just couldn't pass up on it. I had to pick it up. I also platinumed it as well, which is a pretty easy platinum. And speaking of easy platinums, I got this one for Christmas as well. And actually, now that I think of it, I don't think I picked this up. I think I'm confusing this. I think I got this for Christmas, and so did this one. My brother gave me this one. He might have also given this one, or my sister did. I can't honestly don't remember. Yeah, this is a solid 7.58 game. Like if you're just looking for fun, standard, your base AA, AAA kind of game. This is it right here. It's pretty decent production values. Nothing too crazy. Graphics are solid. Story is kind of silly, but I mean, you don't really play these for the story, right? You sort of doing it for the gameplay and just seeing all the violence on screen. But yeah, if you like zombies and stuff like that, so I recommend it. I actually enjoyed this more than Dying Light 2. That's another game that I actually don't have. I sold that. I bought it when it came out, played it. I enjoyed it, but I don't know why. I like the linearity of this game. I'm a little burned out on open world games, which is surprising because I'm playing Rebirth right now, and it's open world per se, but it's got objectives, kind of like Ubisoft style objectives, on the map, and it doesn't really feel like an open world. I don't know. Atomic Heart. I probably should have listened to my buddy on this one and not picked it up. I'm not a fan of this game. It's hard to. I have a hard time saying that because I usually the games that I pick up. I try to find some positive in them, because I invest money into them. You spend time with them, and you're like, okay, you tend to understand, but there's no saving this one, at least as of now. It could be another cyberpunk thing going on, but I don't like this game from playing it. There's bugs on it, or bugs within some levels, and I'm pretty sure they're never going to get fixed. I ran into this bug in which I can't proceed through a section, and I keep falling through a map. And it happened a few times, and I don't know, I was a little put off by it, which sucks because I really enjoyed the initial reveal trailer of this game. That was many years ago now, and it looked like a Bioshock, kind of like a Russian Bioshock kind of thing going on. Yeah, that's not it. And it's published by Focus Entertainment, who, in my opinion, are sort of like a hit or miss. They publish some very gameplay, very much 6, 7s, 8s out there. They're not they're not a Capcom or a Square Enix where they're cranking out these solid Game of the Year contenders or anything. But yeah, I mean, I was expecting that. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna go back to that. I'm not sure. Certainly not now. I played it for about 10 hours or so, maybe 8, and it just wasn't clicking for me. Assassin's Creed Mirage is definitely a return to form. I mean, in terms of if you like the original Assassin's Creed games, if you don't, then you're gonna hate this game. I enjoyed it. Solid 20-25 hour game. If you're looking for some quick fun, an actual open world and true Assassin's Creed type of gameplay, this one was probably it for you. Yeah, fun game. Also, like I said, an easy platinum if that's your thing. If you like to collect trophies, you get it in like 25 hours at least. That's how long it took me. I think about 23, 25 hours. Yeah, it's a fun game. I never finished Valhalla, but I think I forget his name. Basim. I think he was a character in Valhalla, and I think a pivotal character. I never played it, but I heard what happened. Sort of. I think I understood what happened. I won't say here just in case you guys are playing. I don't want to spoil. Not like it's monumental or anything. Liza P. from NeoWiz, a publisher that I've never heard of before prior to this. This is a phenomenal game. One of my favorite games last year. Last year was just a banger of games for me. 2023 was, in my opinion, the best year for video games. It sucks that I didn't get a chance to play all of them. I know for everybody, or for a lot of people, it was Baldur's Gate. Not my type of game, but I really enjoy the fact that other people got to experience like a AAA game that they enjoy. With Baldur's Gate being one of them. And this one for us. See, I first said I'm not a Soulsborne fan. Now I'm kind of categorizing myself as us. I'm adding myself into the mix there, but yeah, if you're a Soulsborne fan, this one's for you. Absolutely fantastic from what I've heard online and watching videos. A lot of people that are into the From Software games, the Soulsborne particularly, they say this is the best sort of copycat, not from software. Oh wait, not from software. And I can see why. This game is phenomenal. It's just the aesthetic, the gameplay, graphics are solid. The lore, I remember. I can't recall the last time where I was so intrigued by a game's lore. When I beat this game, I was like a child, like a little kid. I went online and to YouTube, and I was looking at like people's theories on certain characters and so on. I don't do that anymore. I mean, that's something that I would probably do when I was in high school, but it's not normally something that I find myself doing now. As an adult, and the fact that this game had me doing that was pretty cool. I really, really enjoyed this game. Yeah, it's not perfect for any means, but for me, this was like a solid 9.5, if not a 10. I might even say 10. One of my favorite games last year. Easily could have been my favorite last year. It's just, again, it's one of those things where it depends how you catch me on the day. And I would have told you if this was the best game last year or not. If you haven't played it, I recommend it if you're into the Souls games. Very good. Very, very, very good. I'm very happy that I've gotten this deluxe collector's box, or whatever the heck this is, because I think these are they're pretty, I don't know, I want to say rare, but I think they're high up in price out there, I think. Yeah, I really enjoyed this game. Resident Evil Village, another game I really enjoyed, and from a series I absolutely love. From my developer and publisher that I absolutely love, made my childhood, Capcom did. Fantastic game. No, not really so. Fantastic game. If you're into Resident Evil, I'm sure you played it already, but if you're just into survival horror, I can't recommend this game enough. It's a first-person action shooter, so to speak. And it has this great, you're somewhere in Europe. I don't know if it's like Scandinavia or something. I'm not entirely sure where in Europe, but it looks like Eastern Europe. And yeah, pretty creepy. Probably not creepier than 7. I think 7 probably takes the cake simply because of the house, and you got the goodness me, I forget his name now. But the guy, the baker, Mr. Baker, following you around the house. This one, there's not a whole lot of like cat and mouse sections. Just that small section which you're being followed around by I forget her name. What the heck was her name? Madame something. Mistress. I can't remember her name. But it's a really tall lady with the hat that people really seem to dig online. Yeah. I kind of want to jump back into this. I want to play the DLC. Awesome game. Yeah, loved it. Solid 9 out of 10 for me. Love Resident Evil, so it's easy for me. UFC 5. Valentina Shevchenko there, and Alexander Volkanovski on the cover there. Fun game. If you like sports, if you're into MMA like I am, I recommend it. But if you have 4, not really a huge step up, really, which is disappointing. It's the fact that it took them like 2-3 years to crank out a new one, and it's pretty much the same game. With some minor changes, some minor animation, like updated animations here and there. It's around the same game, but it's fun nevertheless. I enjoy these games. The graphics obviously look a little better. Excuse me, but nothing to rave about really. Oh, here it is. And then I switched the cover. Look at that thing right there. That is awesome. I don't have the disc in here because it's on my console, but I love the art here. Again, I know I keep saying this in my videos, but the color combination here of the white label and the font, it's like it's match made in heaven. I'm sure that was probably done on purpose, but yeah, this is a fantastic game. When I'm not playing it, I can't wait to jump into it. I get lost into it. Time just sort of like zooms by when I'm playing this darn thing, and I love the characters. Surprisingly, I've never, well, I shouldn't say never, I did as a kid, but as an adult, I've never been into like these anime characters, and some of the characters here, that right there, awesome. Some of the characters like Yuffie or Aerith, often for me, they may seem a little cheesy, sometimes even Tifa, that's my gal. I'm Team Tifa all the way, I'm sorry. I'm basic. But some of these characters like Aerith and Yuffie, and even, Cloud to an extent, and some of these other, like, Vince and Valentine and all that, they're very anime-y, but in this game, it just works. And it works very well. And it's I almost like don't even care. It just works so well. Unfortunately, I've never played the original games before, so I know, some people watching this may, have their own opinions on that. I'm sure. I mean, I would too if I was like a hardcore fan, but I never have been. Until recently, really, until 4 years ago with the remake, I really got into the series. This is so far I haven't beaten it. It's a near perfect game in many ways, but also in many ways not so perfect. So probably a solid 9.5 or 10 for me. I don't see this. It's gonna be tough if another game beats this year for me. And we'll see. I know someone told me recently in the comments about Dragon's Dogma being better. I still have played it, but I can't wait to jump into it. It's gonna be tough. This game is awesome. I really like it. I can't wait to play more of it right now. Actually, as I'm talking about it, I'm thinking about it. And I can't wait to jump back into it after that. wait to play this one. It's from my beloved Capcom and my, not Maya, but from Hideaki Itsuno, director of DMZ 2 to 5. So, yeah, can't wait. Can't wait to jump into this. I don't know what else to say because I haven't played it, but it looks awesome. Yeah, I love the first one. Oh man, every time I see this cover, I just want to pop this thing in the game, in the console, and just start playing it. Dead Space, I've heard some recent rumors that it doesn't sound like we're going to get a Dead Space remake 2, which is really, really, just really unfortunate because this is a masterpiece of survival horror. I can't say it enough. A fantastic game. My favorite game of 2008, and one of my favorite games last year. This game started, like the year 2023 started with a banger. Apologies if you can hear any background noise. I think my wife's making dinner. Yeah, I really love this game. It's near and dear to me. A lot of nostalgia playing this. It's a remake, but there's also it's very much true to the original game, but there's also some little hidden secrets and features there that I really love. I love this game, and it really sucks that we won't be getting a second one. I'm saving my second playthrough. I've been talking about it before, and I mentioned it, but I plan on getting an OLED TV, and I'm saving my second playthrough for that. Alan Wake Remastered. Fantastic game. I don't have it here because obviously there's no physical copy of it, but Alan Wake 2, also a fantastic game, one of my favorite games last year. This is a fun game that started all. Nothing survival horror about this game. Very actiony. Definitely see the Resident Evil inspiration to this game, the second one, specifically the second one. Yeah, fun game. Remedy is now, I think I mentioned it before, but they're definitely one of my favorite developers. Gustavo Fring. No, I forget his name here. I actually don't know. I never played this game. Well, I have for about an hour, but that's it. I just wasn't in the mood when I got this. I got it for cheap. I normally like Far Cry, but as soon as I picked it up and just played it, it looked exactly like Far Cry since Far Cry 3. It just, I don't know, it didn't resonate with me. I need to be in the right headspace, I guess. And I like Far Cry. I enjoy, I should say, the Ubisoft Far Cry from 3, 4, 5, and 6, although I really kind of hope they would go back to something like Far Cry 2. Yeah, and I don't know, I need to go back to this. There's nothing I can say about that one, unfortunately, because I never played it. Crisis Core, Final Fantasy VII Reunion. I was not planning on going back to this, but as I'm playing Rebirth, I feel like I need to now more than ever. So I think I'll go back to it, and I may platinum it. I don't know. I think I love Little Fight. I think I was like 50% with the trophies or something. So it was fun. A PSP game remake on consoles. Yeah, it wasn't a bad game. It's just sort of, like I said, I've never been a Final Fantasy fan until recently, and there was just so many games to play, so I played this for a bit, and I sort of got off the wagon on this one, but I definitely need to go back and play. Hitman 3. Awesome game. Hitman 3 is the best Hitman game of the new series from IO Interactive, at least. I love the cover art here. This little bald head and the nice, prop collar jacket. They're very, very action Hitman movie-esque type of vibe and look going on. I love it. The second level, I think it's the second or third. It might be the second or third level of the game here, but in which you play basically in this like murder mystery mansion house. That level is probably one of my favorite just levels to mess around in, like any game or any medium. Just being in that setting, like a Scottish kind of mansion house, reminds me of like Skyfall, like the house from Skyfall, the James Bond movie. Like it like very much like a murder mystery house type of deal, and you have to eliminate your targets. Awesome level in which you can just play around and go to town with the poor victims there. But this is an awesome game. I can't recommend Hitman 3 enough. Especially if you're into like stealth games. I know there's not a whole lot of stealth games out there anymore, but this one's still out there. True to form. Just very fun. There's just a big old sandbox and we can just play around and kill people. I heard somebody call this a murder simulator. And it is. It pretty much is. Yeah. Spider-Man Miles Morales includes remastered. Awesome game. If you love Spider-Man, you'll love this game. I probably should come up with another word besides awesome. I feel like I've been saying that ad nauseum now. This is a great Spider-Man game, and it's pretty much the same thing as you would expect from the first iteration. I know this was more like a DLC standalone title type of thing, but it's still pretty fun, and it's still pretty beefy. You're looking at like 12-15 hours of gameplay here. Good for like playing on the weekend, on a Friday night, Saturday night, on your own, relaxing, swinging around New York City. It just takes place around the holidays, I think. So you got this like kind of Christmas vibe going on. And Miles is just a really likable character. His parents are also pretty likable in this game. I mean, not that they ever are not, but if you're a Spider-Man fan like I am, you'll enjoy it. It's a fun game. Star Wars Jedi Survivor. I forgot that this game came out last year. That's how stacked 2023 was. It came out, I think, in the spring, like April or so of last year, and it's a great game. Absolutely great. Let me actually get these out of frame. I feel like they've probably been framed for too long. Yeah, it's if you're a Star Wars fan, the effect obviously is going to be amplified, so to speak. But in terms of the combat, it's also very much like a Soulsborne type of game. You got this like meditation places in which they can serve as like a bonfire, like if you're familiar with like Dark Souls type of games. Yeah, I really like that. Finally, we have a Star Wars action game, and yeah, it's a Soulsborne type of game, but it's still pretty fun, and I like the characters. I think it's BD8 or BD1. I forget the name of this guy. Fun little robot. Cal Kestis is a pretty likable character. Yeah, it sucks that I played it when and look at that, 150 gigabytes. Goodness. I played this when it was very choppy. It was running like at 25, barely 30 frames per second. I think they've updated since then, so definitely check it out now if you're into Star Wars, really, or even the Soulsborne type of games. They've updated the frame rate on PS5, so it should look pretty good now. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. working with the terrorists and so on. You know, you had this like was kind of like border. You were at the border wall mission, you know, type of thing. I thought that was pretty awesome. It was like very like action movie, very like Sicario-esque. I dig that quite a bit. I thought that was pretty cool. I used to be a huge fan of the multiplayer. When I was in high school, I would switch between FIFA and Modern Warfare 4, Call of Duty Modern Warfare, the original one, Call of Duty 4. So that would be my two games that I would flip and switch, and yeah, it just reminds me a whole lot of that. Yeah, it's a fun game. I don't know what else I can say about Call of Duty that, you know, people know what that is. Oh, around Japan. Look at that. Liza being down there. Tripping to need to go back to this game. I was playing it and I stopped, but it's really fun. People say that it's very much like the Fear games, and yeah, it seems to be. I've played only a little bit of Fear 1, and yeah, it reminds me of that. It was a long, long time ago that I played it, so very much so. I quite like it. I'm playing it on the hardest difficulty, and I'm having a hard time because it's very, very hard. You die with like two shots, and these guys are deadly accurate. I was trying to go for the trophy run, but because it's taken so long, I sort of just abandoned it. But yeah, fun game. It's $20 or something like that. Death Stranding Director's Cut. I think I mentioned it last time, but I bought this to play it, obviously. But then after I bought it, a month or two later, they announced that it was coming to the PlayStation. Again, one of the subscription things, one of the tiers. And so I was like, hey, I'll just download it there and play it. And I didn't even have to open up my copy, so even better. This was a game that I was avoiding, like, the play, because people were saying it was 50-50, and some people loved it, some people hated it. So I avoided it because I didn't know what to think of it. But then I said one day, you know what the heck, I'll give it a shot. When I played this game, immediately I fell in love with it. I thought this was an awesome game. I'm normally not a huge Hideo Kojima fan. I'm not big on the Metal Gear Solid games, unfortunately. My favorite one is, well, I shouldn't even say my favorite. The only one I played fully is Metal Gear Solid 4, and I remember enjoying that quite a bit. But I know a lot of people don't like that one. So, you know, I don't know anything. You can disregard my vote. Take whatever I say with a grain of salt. This was fun though. It's 100% a delivery simulator with some like minor combat elements to it. But the atmosphere, the setting, it's supposed to be like the U.S., but this really looks more like Iceland or something. I don't know, like just Europe, and there would be scenes where you're delivering these packages and you're struggling, and then the music kicks in, and it's so just the ambience altogether. It's a fantastic kind of breath of fresh air. Really, never played anything like this before, and I quite enjoyed it. I highly recommend this. One of my favorite games in the past decade. Steelbook, what's in here? Look at that. I forgot to bring, I just realized that. So, I have Last of Us Remake Part 1, and I have Last of Us Remastered as well. I have them downstairs. I just realized they're in my cabinet. So those are two games that I also have. Great games, of course, with The Last of Us Part 1 being probably, in my opinion, still the best game of all time for me, before anyone out there kills me. And maybe 2 alongside with it, I don't know. The Last of Us Part 2, I know it's very controversial, but I absolutely love this game. It was a roller coaster of just many feelings playing this game 4 years ago, and I absolutely loved it. I know it's kind of the not so popular take on it, and playing that after part one, it's hard to say which one's the best one. I know most people would say the first one, and yeah, I can agree with that. But sometimes, again, it's another one of those things that you catch me on a different day. I'll say part two is better. Just the gameplay on part two, in my opinion, was superb. I love the whole prone thing. I feel like every third-person game should have that as an option, or at least some. Yeah, it's just a fantastic game. But anyway, I'm just talking about them because I forgot to bring them. I just realized that they're downstairs. I have the steelbook for them as well. Yeah, but this is Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 2 was awesome last year. And again, another game that I forgot that came out. Although phenomenal as well. If you love Spider-Man, the first one, you're getting basically more of the same with the second one. Returnal. One of my favorite games of 2021. I'm not really huge into roguelites, but this was awesome, and I'm glad Sony acquired Housemarque because they make like gameplay, 100% gameplay focused type games. So I really appreciate that. This was an awesome game. Got the platinum for it. Was a little annoying because it was very RNG based, but yeah, this is awesome. You play as I forget her name. I think it was Celine, and your plane crashed in this planet, and you just keep going through these doors, and every time you die, it sort of regenerates, and it's sort of like part of the story. The story is kind of, not an afterthought, but sort of not the first thing. That's the first area of focus here. The first area of focus, I would say, is the gameplay and the mechanics, because it's a roguelike, so it's fun. I hope they make a second one and expand on the story and the character of Celine, because I thought it was pretty cool. You guys already know. Devil May Cry 5. Alongside 3, my favorite game of all time, right here. I love this game. I don't know what else to say. I talked about it, I'm sure, at this point. Just tuning its horn, which I absolutely don't mind. I love it so much that I bought another copy to have it sealed. That's how much I love this game. And this series, I wouldn't do this for any other game. Or the series. It's just Devil May Cry 5 is that special to me. Dante and Virgil here. Got Dante looking goofy here. Virgil in the back there like a badass. But if you're a fan of character action games, fast, frenetic action combat games, this is going to be for you. I'm really surprised out there how many people enjoy these other not so great, without naming any names, because I also don't want to, disparage anything, but a lot of people enjoy these other sort of like action character games or character action games that are not, in my opinion, not so great, and they often post about their combat and whatnot, but I feel like those people really haven't played a DMC game, because if they have, they would really know what true character action combat feels like. This, Bayonetta, things like that, those are stellar. Bayonetta, of course, on the Nintendo Switch, but that's another one that has exceptional combat. Yeah, they just don't make them like this anymore, and I absolutely love them. Love some Devil May Cry. It is the reason why I started getting into video games, and the reason why I play them till today. Well, I lied. I said there wouldn't be another series I would buy a sealed copy for, and I lied. This is Resident Evil 4, my game of the year last year. Absolutely phenomenal game. Fantastic. 10 out of 10 game. original back in 2005 on the GameCube, and just being in awe. I remember I was freaked out about it. I was so scared to proceed in certain areas, and I would often blast up music in my room to sort of encourage me and amp me up to go to the next level, because I was afraid. I think at the time I was like 11 or 12, and you have to understand that time I wasn't so exposed to horror or anything like that, so it was like this monumental, like scary kind of game for me, and it was me sort of breaking from my kind of, my, I guess, I don't want to say innocent, but my not horror shackles, if you will. Like, this is where I really got into the weeds with the horror, even though it was very action oriented now that I look back at it. But for me, it was just very scary. And then the same thing with Dead Space. A few years later after that, I felt Dead Space was much scarier than this as well. But this is the game that started it all for survival horror for me, at least the remake of it. And it's something very near and dear to me, as similar to Devil May Cry. Both of these series, both of these games are more so Devil May Cry 3, but both of these series are just something that I often think about when I'm thinking about a video game. I think about Resident Evil 4 or Devil May Cry 3, 1, 4, etc. So, yeah, and that's why Capcom, like I said, Capcom is, they're my boys and gals over there. Love that developer and publisher. I love that game. And then I think, last but not least, Final Fantasy 16. Awesome game as well. One of my favorite games last year, if not, depending on what day you catch me, like I said. It's very much a character action game with some very, 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 very light RPG elements, which is, I know that was a big, I guess, critique for the game. Was, a lot of the hardcore fans, I did not like the fact that they didn't have a whole lot of RPG elements, and I understand, I can understand that. For me, though, it was the opposite. I actually love the fact that it didn't have a whole lot of RPG elements. I love the character actionness of it. I thought the game was phenomenal. The story was great. The characters were great. I absolutely loved Clive Rosefield. One of my favorite characters in video games over the last 10 years, really, or just ever. I thought he was really cool. I don't know why his character resonated with me. I really enjoyed it. You pretty much just play as Clive Rosefield the whole time, unlike other Final Fantasy games that I've seen, or 7. And the music in this game is also stellar. Fantastic music. Again, and some people say the best of any Final Fantasy. Again, I don't know. I never played any of the other ones, but for me, definitely right up there with Rebirth. If you haven't played and you're a fan of character action games or just action games in general, you can look aside. It's I know they have some anime-looking characters in there, but overall, there's a great story underneath there, in my opinion. Definitely worth it if you have the time, because it is a pretty beefy one. I'm also saving my second playthrough for an OLED TV with this one. But yeah, guys, that was it. Thank you so much for watching. We definitely went over an hour, it seems like. So I apologize about that, but I hope you enjoyed. And I really hope that the audio comes out well, because otherwise I just recorded this for no reason. But yeah, guys, you all take care out there. Make sure to like, subscribe if you enjoyed it, and comment. I want to let me know about your games. I want to know if any of these games, if you liked any of them, and you dislike any of them, or any I guess recommendations of games. I'll have to put them in my backlog, but nevertheless, I hope you enjoyed. Take care, everyone. Bye.